It's hard, humid and hard.
That's the no road, I guess. Oh, there goes the stand road. I guess it's stand road.
They're just kind of over or still in the last phase, so the repair of the road can happen only from you know, like 10 days, 15 days from now. So, and you can see here, this whole area is so full of water. Everywhere there is water logging. It's here, and it's really something. Yeah, I've been there. But when I was there, it was like in early 80s. At that time, the things were still all right. Terrorism hadn't started, and it was very different. And now I don't know what condition. Now, of course, they have opened up again. Indians are going there in big numbers. So I don't know what condition it is right now. Anyways, so at the time of partition, the Partition Commission was established, and Sir John Ratcliffe, who had no idea about India because he hadn't been east of Gibraltar, he was made in charge of the Partition Commission, and he heads it and he comes to India and starts doing his work from his air-conditioned office. He doesn't step out of it because it was too hot at that time. So he draws a line on paper and then he asks all the Maharajas in the bordering area which way you want to go, which was fair enough. With your land, with your kingdom, whichever way you would go, Pakistan, fine, India, fine. And based on that, on the boundaries of your principality, we will draw a border line between India and Pakistan. It was fine. Independence happened and everything was fine, but Kashmir Maharaja could not decide because his situation was very precarious. He was heading 90% subjects which were Muslims, but he was a Hindu himself. So as a Hindu, he would be highly uncomfortable in Pakistan, and technically being in the border area, you know, he should have gone to Pakistan with 90% Muslims because he was in the border. But then it didn't happen because it wasn't decided and independence happened. So Kashmir became a no man's land, and then within a month of independence, by September, because our independence happened on 15th of August 1947, by September, the tribal population from northwest frontier province of Pakistan, they were even then very hardliners and ferocious and not really civilized and like that. They started attacking Kashmir and the people of Kashmir, trying to pressurize Kashmir Maharaja to become part of you know, Pakistan. Then Kashmir Maharaja in a haste signed an agreement with government of India. And that memorandum of understanding was that if you give me the support of Indian military to deal with these tribal people coming from northwest frontier province of Pakistan, then Kashmir will become part of India if we are able to win over them. Indian military intervened to tackle the situation with the tribals coming from northwest frontier province. In a response to that, Pakistani military immediately came in the battlefield. So it was the first war, official war, between India and Pakistan immediately after the independence. And I have actually read one of the autobiography of an army general from the Indian side, and it was very interesting to read. Actually, it was very objective. He hadn't written from India or Pakistan. He had written about what it is to be in military, because he said just 6 months ago we were part of the same regiment. Many of the Pakistani army officers, which are now part of Pakistani army, and me, an Indian army officer, we were both part of British army and maybe belonged to the same regiment. We were sharing drinks with each other, and now we are pointing guns at each other within 6 months. So it was really ironical. Anyways, in that battle, Indian Army won. We've had 3 declared war with Pakistan so far in 1947, 1965 and 1971. All the wars have been won by India. Because at any given point of time, Indian Army has been stronger than Pakistan Army. Nuclear technology-wise, we are both equal, I would say. And as an Indian, it is very easy for me to say that India is stronger. But technically, if I look at the issue impartially, in a very objective manner, I would say that we are almost equal to each other, nuclear point of view. But otherwise, military strength-wise, India has always been stronger. So anyways, then the Pakistani army lost, and then India had almost won that battle, and Kashmir had become part of Indian Union once forever. At that time, United Nations intervened and declared ceasefire and instructed our Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru that you can't win any land by military might anymore, because just remember, it was the era after Second World War. So there was kind of chaos and not peace everywhere. So in that situation, United Nations was actually formulated to bring peace in the world at that time. And United Nations was actually performing its responsibility, fulfilling its responsibility. So they asked India and Pakistan to declare ceasefire, and they said, you can't win any land by military might anymore. Let it be the people who will decide which way they want to go. But people at that time were not in a condition to decide, because there couldn't be any plebiscite, any public opinion. There was no infrastructure for elections to happen or public opinion to happen. So, and British were in a hurry to leave. It was to happen in the presence of the British. So British said, okay, let's do one thing. Right now, India and Pakistan in the state of Kashmir decide a temporary line, which is not a border, which will be called as line of control. And eventually, over a period of time, with the help of mutual dialogues and discussions and debate, India and Pakistan will decide as to which should be the border, whether the whole Kashmir should go to Pakistan, or whether the whole Kashmir should come to India, or the line of control should become the international border between India and Pakistan. Whatever it is, we leave it to them to decide. And then they said bye-bye, and they left. The initial 30 years, 35 years for both India and Pakistan were not easy, because we were both very poverty-stricken. I mean, it was like few hundred years of subjugation. So all our resources were sucked out. As they say in England, hoover, we were hoovered out completely. So we really had to build from scratch. There was starvation, there was hunger, there was no infrastructure, nothing. So we took the time to come to a standard. Pakistan was also busy struggling with its basics. Almost in 80s, mid-80s, I don't think Pakistan had become sufficient enough, but still Pakistani army started to create problem in Kashmir. Terrorist activities in Kashmir. Again, there's a line of control that goes diagonally across the state. And on the south eastern part is India and northwestern part is Pakistan, of that diagonal line going across. And it is so interesting, when we publish a map of India in India, we have the whole Kashmir depicted into it, even the northwestern part, which is across line of control. And when Pakistan publishes a map of Pakistan, they have the whole Kashmir, which is even the southeastern part of Kashmir, which is in the side of India, that is depicted in the Pakistan map. To the other side of Kashmir, which is beyond the LOC in Pakistan, we Indians say Pakistan occupied Kashmir, POK. And to this side of Kashmir, Pakistanis say India occupied Kashmir. Did we ever bother to ask the people of Kashmir? In those 30 years, plebiscite didn't happen because Kashmir's location is on the Himalayas, high reaches of mountains. So it was not very easy for the government of India to build infrastructure and give education and health and all that. Government of India was still struggling and doing things in these areas where population was very high. Population density was very high. There the population density has never been high. And people of Kashmir have always lived on tourism because it was a paradise on earth. Beautiful snow-capped mountains, below that green mountains, below that terraced mountains with beautiful gardens of flowers, and then pristine blue lakes, very clear blue lakes. And in those lakes, people of Kashmir used to have houseboats since very olden days. And people from India, the rich and the affluent, even the middle class, didn't have to be rich, were visiting Kashmir, and they were staying there in those lakes, and they were spending some time during hot summers, and then they would buy handicrafts. Kashmiris made beautiful Kashmir shawls, sweaters, and carpets. They were masters in that. So Indians would go there and buy and come back. So their main industry was